Oh, it's time to pick a Popcak.
Yeah, and today, we've chosen Jacob.
Oh, we're choosing today. Well, yeah, we love it when it's time to talk with.
We counted up all the Popcaks and we thought, okay, let's pick Jacob today. But what I ask about, we live such busy lives, and sometimes it's tough to kind of put your faith first. Jacob, how are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. Thanks so much for picking me.
When it's our turn, Jacob. When it's our turn. Yeah,
that's the chosen one. That's right.
But yes, indeed. You mentioned it's often, such that we're living such busy lives, going kind of moment to moment, day to day, thing to thing. And we can often be quite critical of ourselves, I think, for this sense that maybe some of us have that we're not living out our faith well enough, that there's more that I should be doing. And if only I could get done all of these kind of petty, mundane things around me, that I could get to the real work of living out the gospel. And I've counseled many people who kind of operate to varying degrees of this position. This can look like, very simply, I want to rush through dinner so I can get off to my volunteer thing at church. This can look like, I go teach CCD, but I'm not, really hanging out with, my own kids, so to speak. I've even had clients who, will say, well, we go off and we do Thanksgiving dinner, for instance, at the homeless shelter, and we don't do it with our own kids because that's what real Christians do, And these are extreme examples, but I think we can all find ourselves in this a little bit. And what those positions really misunderstand is that the primary work of the gospel, the primary work of drawing closer to Christ, is actually done with those primary people Christ has given you personally to love. This is what people miss. My neighbor isn't just, the people in my community or the people who I'm trying to convert or evangelize. First and foremost, it's my own spouse, my own children, my own boyfriend or girlfriend, my own brothers and sisters in my family. Those people are the people who I'm primarily serving with the gospel. And that means in a very real and literal, often feeling very kind of mundane way, right? When my kid wakes me up, for instance, as he often does, in the middle of the night, when my little 3-year-old wakes me up in the middle of the night and asks me for a glass of water, that's the Holy Spirit inviting me to give drink to the thirsty, right? When I come home from a long work day and I choose to make a meal for my family, that's me giving food to the hungry. When I sit down with my child at the end of a timeout because of some misbehavior they've done, and I really sit there and I look into their eyes and I take some time to kind of restore a relationship with them and help them understand what they did wrong, instead of what so many of us are tempted to do, just using the timeout as a way to kind of, give myself some space and go be frustrated and resentful of my kid and not have to talk to them anymore. But when I go and I sit down with them, hey, guess what? That's visiting the imprisoned. Right? So on and so forth, all the Beatitudes, all the fruits and gifts of the Holy Spirit, all of those are primarily meant to be used first and foremost with the immediate people around me that Christ has given me to love. And when we realize that, when we can enter into that in a bold, bold way, what we discover is that feeling of rushing through the day, that feeling of moving from thing to thing to thing, that feeling of duty, and I just got to check these check marks off on the boxes on my to-do list, it goes away. It goes away, and it's replaced with what I call mundane mysticism. It's replaced with a sense that every one of these seemingly surface-level mundane interactions is actually dripping with meaning, with ritual, with sacredness, and with opportunity to, as Christ says, come together wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there too I shall be, right? It's giving us the opportunity to connect with those people in a way that's not just giving them a snack before they go to school, that's not just touching base with my wife in the 2 seconds before I go to work, but is deep and meaningful and sacramental and is allowing space for Christ to enter more radically into all of our lives and specifically into my heart, so that I no longer have to experience the mundane at all, but that I only end up experiencing the profoundly mystical in the day in and day out.
That is so true, Jacob. I think that's one of the things to try to help people understand that God is in every moment of their lives, and like you said, I don't have to do these grandiose things, and sometimes it's harder to be generous and virtuous with family than it is with strangers that you're serving, correct?
Oh, yeah, because again, I think we all have this idea, when Christ says, go care for the poor, that, they're going to be like a dirty Dickensian street orphan or something, Like we have these very kind of, cute ideas of what the people we're supposed to serve look like. But oftentimes, the real people that Christ is calling us to serve are those very people who we are most tempted to rush past, whether that, as is in the story of the Good Samaritan, the neighbor in my community who I often overlook, or whether it's just those people in my family, in my life, my spouse, my kids, who I'm tempted to go, well, that's just the duties of the day. That's just what I have to do. That's not living out Christ's mission. No. Loving them, radically slowing down and connecting with each of them, that is the mission of the gospel. That is Christ, and that is mysticism.
And I know so often I've had women say to me, well, I just feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything for the community. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm taking care of my kids. And I'm like, that is the greatest gift you can give to the world, is well-adjusted and loved children.
Yeah, I honestly couldn't say it better myself. And, the question I would just return to those people is, hey, why do you think your children aren't enough of a mission field? Why do you think why do you think Christ isn't in your kid? I mean, obviously they do, right? Yes. I'm not criticizing anybody. Right. But what wound is in your heart stopping you from realizing your spouse and your kids are who Christ wants you to love first and foremost?
Yeah. I love it. Looking at him as that's my mission field. I like that, Jacob.
And you're right. We so often forget, right there, because we're too busy doing for others outside the family. So that's a great reminder. Thanks for that wake-up call,
wow,
Jacob.
What a choice we made today, guys. Yeah. That was really, really good.
That was a
Nicely
good
done,
choice.
Jacob.
Nice,
God bless you, brother.
Thanks. Bye, Jacob.
Thanks so much, guys. Take care now.